turn to Senator Lummis for her questions.
Thanks, Madam Chairman. Ms. Cornelius, first of all, thanks for your enthusiasm about CDFIs. It really showed. Do you have any feedback to Treasury on the CDFI fund's proposal to revise the certification application?
Yes, and forgive me that I went over. I did
Oh, it
get
was
too
fun.
excited,
No,
and yes, I saw it was
your
on red.
enthusiasm is infectious. Thank you.
There are specific, very critical changes to the certification process that could possibly be detrimental to CDFIs, native CDFIs, and how we continue to operate in our community. Specifically, one, by prohibiting interest-only mortgage loans with balloon payments, and mortgage loans with terms longer than 30 years. Under the proposed CDFI certification changes, CDFIs will now have to write mortgages that include no negative amortizations, interest-only payments, or balloon payments. When we look at a majority of the mortgages that are held within portfolios of native CDFIs, a majority of those are balloon payments. So if we're looked at how, number one, we're not able to access conventional means outside of Section 184 or USDA 502 programs, the mortgages that we're holding work for our communities. By implementing this change, we are going to see a huge decrease in homeownership across Native communities. Also, the predominance as a financing entity and restricting CDFI staff time to get it dedicated to developmental services. As individuals working within the CDFI industry in and of itself, part of CDFI certification is the marriage of development services in conjunction with financing activities. Some communities need more development services than others. So if we're to start looking at the CDFI and the CDFIs throughout the nation as more conventional lenders and not allowing development services to be imperative to creating stronger borrowers, we're also going to see minimized individuals that are coming through our doors. Development services are imperative, whether you're native, rural, or not, to really building the capacity and the financial mobility of Native communities.
Thank you. My next question, I'd love to hear from any of you that wishes to take that. What can we do to ensure CDFIs have better access to stable forms of capital? And I'm particularly interested in what you might have to say about Federal Home Loan Bank membership.
Federal Home Loan Bank membership hasn't been really accessible for all CDFIs for a number of reasons, but those who do access it are able to get to that financing with pledging of home mortgage assets. Those who don't do mortgage lending don't have those assets to pledge. And even more so, CDFIs make a lot of non-conforming mortgage loans, which are not pledgeable with Federal Home Loan Bank.
Such as non-conforming in what ways?
Collateral on reservations, collateral or mortgage loans with a higher loan to value than prescribed. Those homes in certain areas that have a value gap from cost to construction.
Great. Thanks. That's very helpful.
Thank you, Senator Lummis. I think as well the bond bill, the CDFI bond guarantee program that we talked about, the fact that it could go from $100 million, which for NDC, we would have never looked at that. We couldn't have been able to use it. But to go to $25 million, now we can
Is that the right number? Is $25 million the right number?
$25 million works, because then we can collaborate and do and even work together. It's more attainable. It's more accessible for us at that level. I think that gives us, and it gives us like fixed rate, longer term, because that's what we need is with these entrepreneurs that we support that now want to do this commercial development. If we think about our Developers of Color program that we're creating, the gap in financing is what's tripping everybody up. So to be able to provide long-term financing to them, patient capital is what we call it, is key. So really grateful for that.
Do you agree, Ms. Nilmark, that $25 million is the sweet spot?
It would be very helpful for some. And yes, to be able to collaborate, I think we could use that a lot more. I would also say that the cost, which leads to the higher interest rate, makes it not as useful for certain types of loans or many types of loans. And if there were some funding, with the bill proposing $10 million of funding to provide for the loan loss reserve, that would reduce the interest rate cost. We would have to access the CDFI bond funds, and it would make it help us to make more affordable loans to our customers.
Okay, thank you. And my time's up, but I'll have more questions in a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.